I always carry swabs in my bag in case I come across something genetically mysterious. So it could be something that's moist when it should have been dry, or something that is green when it should have been red. It could be anything, but I think the world is full of lots of interesting creatures. And so my daughter always says, Daddy, do you have your swabs and your tubes? Because are you going to collect a sample? I'm very much like just a kid collecting mysterious genetic samples around the world. My mom was an English professor at University of Wisconsin-Parkside, and my dad was a CIO for Harley-Davidson. So growing up, there was always computers floating around the house, and there was always a lot of sort of academic vibe in the house. And then as soon as I, in 8th grade, learned a lot about embryology and the fact that the molecular instructions are in the first cell and present in all cells, and that all you need to do is understand that book of life, I really became fascinated. But the microbiome component of it was more recent. So I'd say that a couple things happened. One is every time you sequence a human genome from somewhere in your body or your skin, a lot of the DNA is human, of course, but it'd always be fragments of DNA that you've just sequenced, and you know it should go to some organism, but it didn't map to anything. It wasn't human for sure, and you couldn't figure out what it was. Of course, we know now a lot of this microbial DNA. The second thing that happened is I became a father and watched my daughter explore the world around us, and even at certain points watched her lick a subway pole. Really became very curious about what happens when your mouth touches lots of public surfaces. Like what does that exchange look like? How transient is it? How much of my tongue is left behind, or vice versa, when you actually have such a unique interaction with the environment? Yeah. I thought, well, in the absence of knowledge, the best thing to do is explore. So we started to explore. The almost semi-claustrophobic feeling of being in a subway and having this strange exchange of microbes and human cells. You know, we use the same modeling what happens when like astronauts go to the space station. We just finished a study looking at Scott Kelly, who spent a year in space, and we can see the same thing. He's in basically a tiny aluminum tube, the space station, and there's a transfer of microbes between him and the walls and him. And you can see it now. So it's something that has happened really for as long as humans have been around and animals in the environment. We can now map each individual microbe and how they move and how they change when they colonize new people.